Coach. 7-game winning streak. What are you most pleased with through these first 7 games with your defense, and then the things that you're honing in on the next couple weeks?
Pleased with our preparation each week. I guess we talk about our preparation helps us win football games, and we see different stuff every week, and just focusing on fundamentals and technique and execution. But the way these guys prepare, and they're up in the office watching film and understanding tendencies, which every tendency seems to get broken each game right now, which is, I guess we're doing something right. I guess the second part to that question is just focus on fundamentals, technique, and execution. Kind of getting back to fall camp, things that we kind of can clean up. So.
Coach Vegan was saying y'all were missing some tackles here and there in last week's game against Idaho State. What were your thoughts on your team's overall performance in tackling in that game?
Idaho State, yeah, we didn't tackle well. Too many times, or when we did make contact, the guys were falling forward, which really isn't I wouldn't say it's been the identity of ours, but we've been tackling pretty well the rest of the year. And I think those, you got to give good credit to Idaho State. They had some good backs too that broke some tackles. So they practice too. We'll be better.
But where did you see kind of Chase's absence, and I guess Callahan's as well? Where did you see that kind of show up the most?
Well, there's a reason why those two are starters. Chase on the inside is the spine of our defense. I don't think they would have ran the ball that much. You don't try to run the ball in there when Chase is in there. That's a part of it. And then Callahan he's played a lot of football around here. And those other backers did a good job. Danny and Alex, they did a really good job. But there's a reason why Callie's a starter. He's just a little more experienced. So we missed him for sure, but other guys stepped up, and we'll need that moving forward too.
How did you feel like Byron did in Chase's place?
Did a really good job. Those D tackles, I think they played well.
Danny and Alex have gotten a little bit of playing time even before this game. What have you thought about them and their development as they've kind of tried to ready themselves for situations like this last weekend?
Yeah, that's why we try to play as many guys as we can. Nolan went down, and those two really had to take Nolan's rotational reps really the whole year. Now they had to play a full game, so they're ready to go. They made normal mistakes, not anything catastrophic. Callie could have made the same mistakes along with everybody else on the defense. So those guys are ready to go. Those two will be all conference players as they get older. I think they'll be really good football players. They're already really good football players.
Specifically, Alex, what stands out to you about him and his skill set?
Fast, run sideline to sideline. Obviously has to put on some weight so he can thump a little bit. But he's a fast backer, and we like speed on our defense. He fits right in.
And Danny too. I mean, what stands out to you about him?
Oh, Danny kind of reminds me of Callahan. He's like a old school, just grind it out, get it done backer. So really don't care what he looked like, what he dressed. He just to go out there and play. So that's why you like Danny.
What would you say Byron's biggest strengths are, or things he needs to improve on as well?
Biggest strength is execution. He does what he's supposed to do. Has good leverage, has good hand placement. Is always in his rush lane and on pass downs. We have movement on. He does it correctly. Just a high level execution guy. Things he can improve on. I mean, he can obviously make more plays. Getting off blocks, having good pad level. I might say that about anybody on our D line. So I'd like to see more TFLs.
Do you ever talk to him about his kind of path and taking the mission and being kind of one of the older guys, but still I think 3 years of eligibility left?
Yeah, we joke around with him all the time about that. So
What's one of the things you say to him?
We'll leave that.
Okay, fair.
Joke around with Rolly a little bit. So.
And Sebastian gets to start. I know he still's rotating pretty evenly, but what kind of stood out about him to get him to move up the depth chart last week?
Man, he's been really productive, and we moved him inside. I think it was game. He always worked inside during fall camp, but permanently moving him inside. Game 2 or 3, we moved him inside. When Red went down, we kind of thought about it, then we kind of went with it, and now him learning position, we're more athletic inside. That's kind of what we want to build our defense on, being really athletic and explosive. So moving the defensive end inside, now guards have to block him, and he was doing pretty good on tackles. So
yeah,
he's an explosive athlete.
What is it like for you coaching someone like Troy, who has kind of a great reputation around the program? And I guess what was your first impression of him, and how have you seen him kind of develop this first first year with him?
First impression of Troy. I have to sit here and think for my first impression of Troy. I don't know. Troy, a big dude. You know, he's a great athlete. I'm like, all right, he's gonna play linebacker. Yes. I don't know my first impression, but he's really easy to coach. And Coach Daly is coaching him most of the time, but on the sideline, I'm talking to him and doing practice, and he listens and he remembers everything. So easy to coach. You tell him, hey, quarterback's looking here. Here's the routes we're getting. This is what we expect. Here's the run game. Puller's coming this way, and we got guys crossing. Your eyes got to be in this spot. He's a really disciplined football player, and I think it helped out when he's played some quarterback. So it's really smart, really easy to coach.
Had you heard about him, I guess, before you, or when you're talking about taking the job, or what did you hear about him from others before you kind of got entrenched into this role?
I wouldn't say I didn't hear about him when I was thinking about taking the job, but I heard about him as soon as I stepped on campus. Or I guess I accepted the job one day, and then the next day I was on the phone with Coach Daly, talking to personnel, literally. So that was the first name that came up, saying he's going to play defense. And me and Coach Daly kind of watched some film of what we did and kind of where we want guys to fit and the personnel that we're looking at. He was kind of explaining everything to me and give me a rundown on these players. So that was the first time talking to Coach Daly about him, probably a day after I stepped to the job. So.
And he kind of has even whenever, he kind of has a legacy, I guess. And whenever he graduates, he'll be known as a pretty well-known Bobcat. But it doesn't really seem like that has gotten to his head whatsoever. And so I'm curious from your perspective, is that uncommon, I guess, a little bit, that sort of humility, even in the face of so much attention and
I'd say in 2021 for sure it's uncommon. Most guys are taking it and running with it. It changes their work ethic. I think he almost doesn't like it. I don't think he likes the media. I don't think he likes all the attention. I think he kind of does it because he knows he has to, but I don't think he like, oh yes, I got to go do an interview. Yeah, I can't wait. I don't think so he just likes playing football. He likes playing football. He likes grinding. He likes working, and then he's a really competitive dude. He likes winning. So, and his teammates hear about it when we're not doing the right thing. So it makes our job easy as coaches.
How does he react when he sees that commercial, with him, the Rock and R bar during the game?
You should see his teammates' reaction. He tries to go hide, basically. They make fun of him. He's like the big brother, the older statesman on the team. So all the little brothers are making fun of him. They get a chance to poke fun at Troy. So he's like, all right, whatever, guy.
Do they just repeat lines from it? What do they say to him?
Just repeat it and just repeat it.
What about you? Anything? Do you rib them at all about that commercial?
No, not really. I let those guys do it. I make fun of them for dropping interceptions.
Colter, do you have? Sorry, go ahead.
The silly Halloween question, top candies, did you see Coach Leach's response, taking your little kiddos trick-or-treating?
We're a weird family. We probably won't be going trick-or-treating, but we're a lame family, like I told you before. We'll do some candy at the house or something. Favorite candy? I like all candy. So I've never had a bad piece of sugar. So I don't know. Just depends on the day.
You guys were dangerously close to. You had no Tyrell, and then Zambrano was hurt the week before. We talked about how much the bye week is important to have, but especially for the DBs, are you just relieved that some of these guys are going to get some time to heal up?
Yeah, we'll get James back. It sounds like Tyrell will be back. We'll be pretty close to full strength going into going into practice and then Eastern Washington. So I don't think you can ask for anything better looking around the conference. Some guys are losing a lot of guys for the season, so we're pretty blessed right now to be in the situation we are health-wise. So it's football. Guys are going to be in and out. That's why you practice. That's why you practice a bunch of reps, and guys are ready to go. Make some tweaks here, play a little different coverage here based on who's in there, and it's all about execution. Go out and win.